Hey everybody, this is Robert with RC Archery. Got a video here for us today that's going to support an article that I wrote last week over methods of firing a thumb button. So what I'm going to do is get my string trainer out. I'm going to get a really close-up view for you to be able to see all the exaggerated motions that go into it and just kind of talk through things. Now keep in mind, I'm going to keep everything pretty brief and pretty short on this video. The majority of the information and how to run through each one of these processes will be in the article that I actually wrote. I'm going to put a link to that at the bottom of the video here in the description. That way you can be able to view it and be able to look at it. Also, you'll be able to find it on my website at rcarchery.com, and it's under my blog. So method number one is going to be just a straight pull back. You're going to have stagnant fingers. You're not going to be doing any kind of hand manipulation with this. You can see it's just a steady motion as a pull. Now when you're doing this, again, like I wrote in my article, you want to use the wrist as the reference point whenever you're pulling. So there's a straight line in between the wrist and the elbow, and that'll help you keep that elbow moving in a straight rearward position. It'll keep you from pulling it left and right, so you just pull it in a straight line. So on my second method here, we're going to be using a focal point for your release execution. And this one's going to be on the thumb. So you'll notice that as you add tension and mentally focus on just going to your thumb, you're going to add tension with it, and it's going to separate the tension from the outside fingers. And the reason it's going to do that is because when you start focusing on just that thumb, it's going to separate it at the lifeline of your hand. So all the muscles and everything on that thumb side will start to contract, and then the ones on the outside of your hand, those will start to loosen up. That's also just going to allow everything to rotate, and it's almost going to be the reverse motion of what you would think with like a hinge where you're rotating it outward. So on my third method, same thing, adding a focal point, but we're using the outside of the hand this time. So one of the outside fingers, be it the second, the third, or the fourth finger, and that's going to separate again everything at the lifeline. This time it's actually going to start to relax on the index and be able to build that rotation into the release. And this would be very similar to what you would think of with a hinge whenever you need that rotation to fire. But it's just focusing there on the outside of the hand. So my fourth method, we're going to combine the last two together. We're going to take both parts of the hand, we're going to contract them together to meet. So be the second, the third, or the fourth finger, we're going to bring that thumb and we're going to bring those fingers together. We're going to almost try to touch them together, and that's going to be our focal point whenever we're working through the release to execute our shot. So this next method here is a good one to be able to maybe combat some target panic, or if you just have a tendency to punch the trigger with that thumb. What you're going to use is the outside fingers here, and you're going to curl them and contract them together and leave the thumb completely stagnant. And what that's going to do is drive that button into the thumb, and that's what's going to trip the shot. In my sixth method, we're going to look at relaxation. So this is going to be the first of two. This one's going to focus on solely relaxing just the index finger. And you'll notice that as you relax that index finger, there's already pressure holding the release with the outside fingers. So it's naturally going to allow that release to rotate through the hand. It's going to drive that button into the thumb. For my seventh and final method, we're going to look at relaxing the hand at the base knuckles. And that's going to be your pivot point. Through this method, you don't relax or have any kind of movement with the fingers. The rotation and everything that's built is because of the way the hand is actually designed. So whenever you go to pivot that hand at the base knuckles, the index is going to move at a faster rate than the outside fingers, and that's what builds that pivot and that rotation into the release. What that'll do is it'll naturally drive that thumb button into the thumb and trip the shot. As always, guys, thank you for watching this video today. Keep an eye out my Instagram channel, and that's usually where all the content goes first, and day-to-day updates. And then also these Tuesday tip of the week videos, they're going to keep coming out each Tuesday. I thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.